Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm your host, Dwayne, the flyest nerd, and this is the Movie Dungeon. And today we got some movie news, so let's go get into it. Starting off, we have In Session movie star Indy Nervite. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry, but she is rumored to have met up with the up-and-coming director for the X-Men movie for Marvel, and she has voiced her opinion on playing Mystique. Mystique, huh? Now, I've seen her in Obsession, and she has range, my boy. Range. And for sure, Marvel wants her. I can see it. Marvel wants her. That's the type of people they want. That's the age bracket, up and coming, popular. And she loves Marvel. She's also went on record that she's a super nerd. She loves video games. So, she's passionate with the projects with that Marvel does. And she would love to join. But as Mystique, she's not the first who pops into my head, though. She definitely should play somebody else. If they would have did a Weapon, another Weapon 20X or 2023, Logan's daughter. They did Weapon 23, or whatever her name is, Laura. And if they would have did Laura later on, I could see her playing that phenomenally. Carrying that. Just not just sporadically how we had the last girl, but there. And just to have it to seem like like Marvel, like the X-Men, like how they want everything already there, but the X-Men have been there too longer. Their storylines has been there longer. How they would have Sabretooth will be there, obviously. Like all this will be all this lore, all this like history just merge into one. And if she plays somebody like that, it could work. But Mystique, I don't know. She'd be dope though. She'd be dope. And I can't wait to see her a part of it. But definitely, they got her. But we got Samara Weaving. She has been casted as Emma Frost. So I don't know too much about her. I know her work. Her movies, the movies she's been in, just haven't been my type. They're just not my type of movie. They do have like a little mini cult following anyway, so there's a lot of people who love her in her movie. So I've definitely seen clips. So she's pretty cool. And Emma Frost is pretty dope. She's kind of played both sides, bad and good. So we'll see where Marvel wants to land her at. But I don't know if they want her in Doomsday, Secret Wars, or in the upcoming X-Men movie. If she's in the upcoming X-Men movie, that can mean a lot. The stories they're going with and going for, crazy. Now, she's supposed to be in Secret Wars. I don't know. It depends if they have to fight, if there's another X-Men team they got to get down with everybody. But I really just don't see that happening. She's probably in the new X-Men movie, though. But that's exciting for her. But moving on to another casting rumor. Marvel just don't stop, do they? We got Drew Starkey. I gotta look more into this guy's work. Really don't know too much about this guy. But he's been rumored and he's been eyed for Cyclops. Now, Cyclops for him, can't get mad at. The boy looks like him. You know what I mean? He got a jawline. He's tall. He's lean. You know what I mean? He gives off leadership vibe, just aura, as the kids say. But this will be the second one now. We had Cooper Huffman last time, but he literally just went on record as making of this video. He's like, yeah, this ain't me. I'm not gonna be a part of this. It'd be cool, but no, it's just not me, guys. But actors have lied before and gone on record plenty of times and lied and then ended up being in it, but you know what I mean? They got to. It's obligated. It's just contract-wise. But he seemed very genuine with it. So I really don't think he's actually going to be in it. Which sucks. I did like him in The Long Walk. There'll be two people from The Long Walk that would make it into the MCU around the same time. With David Johnson making it as Black Panther. That'd be cool. But didn't happen. But moving on, we do have Henry Cavill in his Warhammer movie coming out, and it lands a writer now. Mike Flanagan. I always say Flanagan. Um, he's the writer for it. I love that dude's work. Honestly, he's in charge of the screenplay for the upcoming Clayface. He has Netflix horror division on lock at one point. Man, some of his movies, The Haunting of Hill, Blair Manor, and all that stuff, like, just blew my mind. I was terrified as shit. I'm actually proud of it. So we see how it goes, and we all feel bad for our boy Henry Cavill. DC did his ass dirty. So, let this be his redemption arc and coming back into mainstream movies. But I'm rooting for the guy. We all are, right? But we got the Odyssey still in theaters, still kicking ass. It has now surpassed $700 million in the last 14 days. And after making this video, it's probably past more. It's said on record that this movie is supposed to make $2 billion. And boy, oh boy, I believe it. Boy, oh boy, I believe it. It's too good, man. There's nothing else I could talk about it. That movie, what he did was take an old school story, brought it to the fold in this new generation. He literally made an old story transcend through time. Literally, because people start reading that book in high school, middle school, whatever you're supposed to read. In my time, they stopped that for these new kids. They don't know shit about that. So Christopher Nolan said, "Nah, I got this." Had these people call him daddy in here. They gonna get it. I was like, with them, and it worked. It worked for me too. So that's my boy. But yeah, 2 Billy, easy. I can see it knocking out some of the other top high grossing films that there already were. Easy peasy. But I guess rounding this whole shit up back to Marvel. Marvel's actually facing a little bit of a backlash. They're facing a backlash on how they handle some of their African American superheroes. Sam Wilson. You got Wonder Man that just got totally canned. You got Blade that's been announced to be never ever happening, especially with Marshall Ali. That's not happening. You got Monica Rambeau, that's her character is just kind of whatever. So you got a handful of African American characters, and yeah. So but you got one good one, which is Black Panther. But unfortunately, we lost Chad. Rest in peace, Chad. But now we have a new Black Panther now. But that's like the only one they seem to get right in a lot of people's minds and stuff like that, and they keep messing up with that. And honestly, I kind of see it and I kind of don't. For a lot of the stories back then, they were in comics. Don't get me wrong, they were in comics. I just don't remember them having a shit ton of stories besides really Black Panther anyway. Everybody else had their more comic book runs down the line, but back then when it was the main core, then they were start introducing people. I may be putting my foot in the mouth, but I don't remember them going too far into African American culture. So I just feel like this is not a lot of good stories they can adapt for these characters. A lot without them being sidekick or being on a small mission. You have Captain America. You got Sam Wilson's character who's supposed to be the real Captain America going forward. But, sometimes in the cartoons and comics, his little missions he would do were obscure. And they were just little compared to what Steve would have to do. It's because Steve had the super soldier serum. So you can throw him against really bigger and fearful foes. So I'm not saying Sam didn't deal with his foes. We saw Red Hulk. But anyway, so they're facing a little gripe for that. So I do get it in some ways. But I don't, like I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I really don't see the whole gripe about it. They're going to get it right when they get it right. I am hopeful for Blade now more than anything, especially after Ghost Rider's been announced and Midnight Suns down the line. Midnight Suns is down the line. I can see it, I feel it, so I'm rooting for that, and they gotta have Blade for that. My boy Moon Knight needs to come back, so let's just keep it going. But I think that's all the movie news I really got for you. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Movie Dungeon. I am Dwayne the Flyest Nerd. Peace.